pretty senseless.
People who knew her say they can't understand why. What we've learned about a pregnant woman police say was shot to death in a Lexington neighborhood.
Police say a group of people robbed a Lexington family at gunpoint inside their home. What neighbors told us today.
It's designed to save lives during drug overdoses, but a WKYT investigation looks into whether Kentucky's Good Samaritan law is actually effective.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening. A shooting kills a pregnant woman and her unborn baby in a Lexington neighborhood. And tonight, police tell us they don't have many clues in the case.
Investigators say someone shot 22-year-old Mariah Coleman late last night as she walked along Winburn Drive off Russell Cave Road. Today, Hillary Thornton talked to people who knew her. It's our top story at 6.
It was from my little brother, and he was just, pretty frantic, just saying she's been shot.
Chris Warren replaying the phone call he got last night as this scene played out. He remembers then rushing to University of Kentucky Hospital hoping for the best.
Saw my little brother, he said she had been shot in the shoulder. Kind of started thinking like, okay, maybe she's gonna be all right, the baby's gonna be all right. But
despite the doctor's efforts, neither his brother's girlfriend, 22-year-old Mariah Coleman, or their unborn baby survived the shooting.
he's already named as Jacoby.
Police say they know the 22-year-old was outside the Matador North apartments.
Just taking him for a walk.
Outside walking her dog when for some reason she was shot in her upper body. Investigators say events leading up to and surrounding the shooting remain unclear.
We have a lot of resources, as many resources as possible, dedicated to this investigation.
And as police continue working hard on this case, they're also asking for help from folks who might have been in that area last night.
And I know people are tired of the violence, but people who are tired of the violence also need to know that they play a role in making sure that if people have information, they come and talk to the police about that.
As family and friends wait for some answers, they are hoping for justice for the mother-to-be and baby Jacoby, rallying around loved ones like Warren's brother, who were planning to welcome the baby next month, instead now planning funerals for both the mother and baby.
Obviously, he's pretty heartbroken, but he is strong, so we just there for him, trying to pull him out of this situation. It's going to take a while.
In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Police say they have increased patrols in the Winburn area. At this point, they only have a very vague description of the possible shooter. New tonight, a judge has sentenced a Lexington man convicted of killing his girlfriend. Paris Charles received 35 years in prison for murder and abuse of a corpse. His attorneys say they will appeal the conviction and sentence. Police say Charles killed Goldia Massey at a Lexington home in 2014. They say they later found parts of Massey's body in the Kentucky River.
Lexington police have arrested a man they say secretly recorded people in a public library restroom. They've charged Freddie Gillis with video voyeurism. As Victor Puente tells us, police are trying to figure out how many people were recorded.
Freddie Gillis was facing a Class D felony. That's been reduced to a misdemeanor, but he's still not allowed to be anywhere near the property of a Lexington public library while out on bond. Gillis was arrested just after 9 Wednesday night. Lexington police tell us the crime happened at the Beaumont branch of the Lexington Public Library in the men's restroom. They say a camera phone was placed where it could record people. Gillis was originally charged with 1 count of video voyeurism, which is a Class D felony. But at his arraignment, that charge was reduced to voyeurism, which is a misdemeanor. Police have said they recovered evidence and are still reviewing it. They're trying to determine if that video was shot anywhere else. Today, the judge agreed to release Gillis to his mother, but with some conditions.
Mr. Gillis, you're not to go in on the property of any of our libraries in town. You got that?
Don't have to worry about that. Yes.
Gillis will be back in court September 23rd for his preliminary hearing. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
A spokesperson for the library said they are not commenting on the matter and would let police handle any information that is released.
Neighbors tell us it's left them in shock. Lexington police say a group of men robbed a family at gunpoint in their home. It happened late last night on Lucille Drive in the Masterson Station neighborhood. Police say 2 children were inside the home at the time. Caitlin Setner is tracking the investigation tonight.
This intersection is probably the busiest because it's usually the only way in and out from the backside of Masterson Station.
There was apparently quite the ruckus inside a Lexington home Wednesday night, but many neighbors nearby were oblivious to it.
Nothing. Didn't hear anything.
Others told us off camera they saw police cruisers on Lucille near Masterson Station late at night. And Lexington police tell us there is an investigation after some pretty scary moments. They say 3 men, described as young black males in dark clothes, who may also have gold teeth, broke into a home and held the homeowners and 2 kids at gunpoint before stealing the family's car, some money, and some weed.
We've talked to neighbors and they tell us they're just shocked something like this would happen in their neighborhood.
Very safe, a lot of just family-orientated people. I mean, it'd be nothing just to drive by up and down these streets and everybody knows your vehicle, everybody waves to you, everybody talks.
Although neighbors we spoke to say it's a nice area, they tell us this robbery and any other crime won't make them feel afraid to get out and enjoy where they live.
Everybody's talking about certain places get egged or certain places get robbed, or hey, look at this person and look at that person. There's stupid people out there all the time, and you know, stupid people do stupid things, and unfortunately it's just the way of life.
In Lexington, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
Police say that stolen car is a gray Toyota Camry. They tell us the family was not injured during the robbery.
It's been a sunny and dry day, but we could be tracking some storms later tonight. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, we'll get those scattered thunderstorms into town later tonight, and especially over the next couple of days. We could use a little bit of rain, and yeah, we could really use some cooler air. We've got that coming for you later this weekend. Live look at our WKYT weather garden in the back, and notice how the trees are kind of swaying back and forth. We've had winds today that have been gusting 20-25 miles per hour. Right now, sustained wind out of the southwest at 17 miles an hour, 89 degrees. Humidity starting to edge up just a little bit, still 45%, not half bad. Look at those southwesterly winds, keeping those steamy temperatures across Kentucky, but not too far away. Relief is out there. It's coming at a rainy price for Indianapolis back towards St. Louis. Showers and thunderstorms keeping those temperatures in the 70s, and what you see to our northwest will eventually try to scoot in here later tonight and especially for the day tomorrow. We did manage to squeeze out a shower or two into parts of central Kentucky earlier. Broaden out the view. Cold front is off to our northwest. Hit the fast forward button on the radar, and it is still trying to pop 1 or 2 little showers and storms out there, especially northern parts of the area. Then you can see the action gearing up to move in here tomorrow. Cold front number 2, that is out across the Rockies, will zip in here for the weekend, and that'll bring about a big change. We'll touch on that in less than 10 minutes.
New tonight, Moorhead police have issued another warning about a potent batch of heroin. They say today Rowan County first responders responded to several heroin overdoses, and police say 1 person has died. Moorhead police say Rowan County also saw a surge in heroin overdoses last week.
It is a controversial law that has only been on the books in Kentucky for less than a year. The Good Samaritan law is meant to protect those that witness a drug overdose if they get the victim help. But as WKYT investigative reporter Miranda Combs tells us, following this law may be easier said than done.
When you've lived somewhere most of your life, there are memories everywhere.
He'd always say, "Mom, I would never sell this place."
And for Jerry Price, it was a life he wanted for his kids.
They talk about Daddy all the time.
Samantha Price had 34 years of memories with her only child, but the last came on the back of his dad's log truck. Jerry died of a drug overdose.
Even though people do drugs, it doesn't mean they're the worst person in the world. They just need help.
They buried him in early July.
How do you get over losing your child?
But this home is where his spirit stays.
Part of me went with you the day God called you home, and it does, a big part.
Price says her son struggled with drug abuse for years. His toxicology report showed fentanyl in his system that was 11 times the therapeutic level.
I think all the time, what could I have done different?
That's a question with no tangible answer. But there are facts, Price says, that could have saved her son's life.
And he was laying curled up in the back seat.
She says there were people with Price when he overdosed, driving his van.
They just drove him around. They drove him from Berea back into Rockcastle County. They drove him for 3 or 4 hours and him like that. If they would have took the time just to drop him out at the hospital.
There's a piece of legislation that's meant to support just that. The Good Samaritan law was meant to give a pass to people who witness an overdose. They can get help for the victim without facing any punishment for being present.
Would the Good Samaritan law have helped save his life?
It could have, yes. Yeah, definitely.
Rockcastle County Sheriff Mike Peters is investigating Price's death.
It's my understanding from the information that we have at this point that possibly as many as 3 hospitals were passed where he could have been helped.
He thinks most people don't know the law exists, and if they do, they probably wouldn't trust it.
I think a lot of people still think that possibly, you know, hey, it's a trap. They're going to catch me, and I'm going to, you know, so I don't want a part of it.
Is it going to work in every situation? Of course not. No law works in every situation. It's another tool. It's another tool we've put out there to try to save lives.
Office of Drug Control Policy Director Van Ingram says the law that took effect last spring hasn't had time to sink in here.
If you look at Cincinnati, who has a similar law and had 123 overdoses in a very short period of time, only 3 of which were fatal.
What's that tell you?
People are calling.
For Price, no one helped. Reports say his wallet was missing when he was found.
As to what mindset they had, why they would not stop somewhere, I can't tell you.
I know he done the drugs. I knew that. But they took the choice away from him when they didn't try to get him help.
This Good Samaritan law is a part of the larger heroin bill that was passed last year, Senate Bill 192. Ingram says 24 other states have a similar law to the Good Samaritan law.
This law is so new. It sounds like folks are trying to get the word out about it and let people know. How are they doing that?
Ingram says, as you heard him say, it takes a while for these new laws to sink in for people. One way they're trying to do that, though, is through the needle exchange program to help get the word out. So having information at those locations.
Miranda, thank you. Fayette County Commonwealth's Attorney Ray Larson announcing today he's retiring at the end of the month. Larson has been the county's top prosecutor since 1985. He made cracking down on repeat offenders one of his top priorities. He's also hosted a weekly radio show, and he's active on social media. We asked Ray Larson why he's retiring now.
I've always said I don't want to be the old man that hung around too long, and it just seems like the time is right.
Governor Matt Bevin will appoint someone to fill the rest of Larson's term, which runs through the end of 2018.
They can't make it to the show this weekend, but patients at Kentucky Children's Hospital still got to enjoy the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus today. That's next.
The Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus is making its annual stop in Lexington this weekend.
And today, many of the performers brought the show to the children who can't make it to Rupp Arena. Clowns, contortionists, and other members of the circus entertain patients and their families at Kentucky Children's Hospital. Families told us they appreciate it.
This will be his first circus-like show that he's ever experienced, so I'm sure it'll be very exciting for him.
Well, this year's show, called Circus Extreme, will be at Rupp Arena tomorrow through Sunday.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, it's another good-looking day out there until you step outside and you realize all of a sudden it's still summer. That continues to do a little work after Labor Day now. Live sky cams scattered about the entire region, showing a little more in the way of some clouds the farther west that you live as opposed to the farther east and southeast. Most areas getting in on some gusty winds, and everybody heating it up again, upper 80s to around 90 this afternoon. And with the winds that are gusting up right now, it's still about where we were at this same point yesterday, maybe a smidge cooler by a degree or two. Those gusty winds may keep thermometers closer to 70 or better for the better part of the overnight, and especially with some clouds that are trying to increase. Notice the broken band of some showers and storms from Ohio, Indiana, into parts of Illinois, southern sections of Missouri. That's going to continue to roll toward the east. Front number 1 will stay just to our north. Front number 2 is the Big Daddy. That arrives this weekend, and that will actually cool us down for a change. Tomorrow, any one period, any one point due for a shower or thunderstorm. We'll see that scattered throughout the day, not an all-day event. Temperatures into the middle 80s as opposed to pushing 90, 91 degrees like what we've seen over the past several days. So a storm or two on the move tomorrow. Some locally heavy downpours, locally being the key word to that, not widespread. First half of Saturday is windy and it can get steamy. Second half of Saturday, we'll get a line of strong thunderstorms zipping through here. Winds may approach 25, 30 miles an hour at times on Saturday. Sunday, it's a northerly wind that begins to blow, and that's a cooler wind with temperatures that'll be into the 70s, finally filling the part of September. I say bring it on. Through the evening into the overnight, we continue to see the clouds increasing. And again, a scattered shower thunderstorm will be around at any point tomorrow, keeping those temperatures into the 80s. Those Friday evening plans, high school football games, there's a chance for a scattered thunderstorm, though a lot of dry times out there as well. Saturday, as we get deeper into the afternoon, out ahead of our front, we can hit 90. Along and behind that front, temperatures crash with a line of showers and storms that may be a little stronger the farther east that we go. 11 o'clock Saturday evening, mid and upper 60s are showing up, and we are deep into the 50s to start out the day on Sunday as this front finally gets in here to give us a little shot of some rain. But the more important thing with this front is the blast of some fall air that comes in behind that. Here we go with a different model showing the temperatures 5 o'clock on Saturday, 90 in the east, 70s in the west, 74 Owensboro, 92 Ashland. Can you find the front on that map? Everybody into the 60s, though, by 11 o'clock. Shows you how quickly we cool things down. And by Sunday morning, the 50s are around, rebounding into the pleasant 70s for a high for Sunday afternoon. Doing a little football watching here on WKYT. Hey, you can open up the windows maybe, or take the TV outside on the patio. Temperatures 75 for a high on Sunday. We'll push close to 80 for Monday. Get past Saturday. We may see our last 90 until next summer. I say may. I reserve the right to change that given how this is going.
We know you do.
Yeah, right?
We like the way you're talking for now. Chris, thank you.
Well, Brian, the Cats have been close to beating Florida the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, the heartbreaker in 2014, the hard-fought loss last season. Gators coach Jim McElwain was impressed with UK in the first 30 minutes he watched, mystified in the next 30. Sports is on the way. The last two games between Florida and Kentucky have been nail-biters. They were decided by a total of 11 points. Only one other time in the history of this 29-game skid of the Gators has back-to-back outcomes been that close. That was in 2002 and 2003. The players say the second half collapse last Saturday is over, and all the adjustments have been made.
I think we'll do a good job of, making the corrections and stuff like that. It's just part of the game, Most teams, they make the adjustments, and you see the most improvement between week 1 and week 2. It just from watching film, you know what you need to fix, and I have all the confidence in my team. We've done a good job, in the off season, putting in work, competing, making those routine plays that Coach Stoops always harp on. So I feel like we'll be fine.
Florida coach Jim McElwain said he was impressed with what he saw from the first half watching film on Kentucky, but he was left wondering about what happened in the second half.
They got some wideouts that can go get it. They throw it. They challenge you. They play at a pretty good pace and tempo. The other team last week, they were going up and down the field on them until they didn't get opportunities. They only have about 15 plays or something in the second half. That was the quickest reel to ever watch in the history of ball, I think. When you're going to that, it's like, now, wait a minute. Where's the rest of it?
Well, if you were there, it did not go that quickly. If the Cats and it's the Cats and Gators with Swamp Saturday, right here, beginning on WKYT at 3:30. Immediately following, we will have a special edition of WKYT Game Time. Mark Stoops' post-game press conference live from Gainesville. Tonight in Richmond, EKU opens the home portion of its schedule. Undefeated Pikeville rolls into town for the 7 o'clock kickoff. The Colonels will try to give Mark Elder his first win as a head coach. Last week, EKU gave Purdue 21 first-quarter points, then played them even the rest of the way in a 45-24 loss.
We showed that we can play with them. We moved the ball with ease in the first half. But I think the best thing was we got down 21-0. We didn't quit. We kept fighting, and we made it a ball game again. And we easily were back in that thing. And that was a really good thing to take away.
Former EKU Colonel quarterback Al Holland Jr. brings his 2-0 Pikeville Bears into Richmond looking for the upset. It will be an emotional return for the former two-time OVC champion, but also for EKU coach Mark Elder.
You know, it's going to be fun. You know, Coach Elder's, you know, it's going to be an exciting night for him. It's his home opener, first time there, and a home game with a new staff and new coaches there. So that means a lot to them, and I think there'll be a great crowd. We're going to have a good following that'll go with us as well. So, you know, it'll be an exciting night on Thursday night, and really can't wait to get out there and get after it at 7 o'clock.
Pike at EKU tonight from Roy Kidd Stadium, 7 o'clock. You can watch that game on the OVC Digital Network, and we will have highlights later tonight. Amber, Jennifer, back to you.
All right, thank you, Brian. A final check of your First Alert forecast is next.
And then on the CBS Evening News, who are credit card companies really targeting? A report takes a look at the fine print.
As hot as it's been, we've had some beautiful sunsets this week.
Yeah, and with a little high cloud cover on that western horizon tonight, sunset should look pretty darn nice. Fiery, how about that? Showers, thunderstorms off to our west. Some of that gets in here tomorrow, and that front does not arrive until Saturday. When it does, it gets a whole lot better after that.
And you like that there's Thursday night college football?
Well, heck yeah, football is great any night of the week. NFL starts tonight also with a rematch of the Super Bowl. Wow. That hadn't happened since 1970.
Big night all the way around. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 11.